Namaskar. The month of April will see a lot of storms, winds of change, both externally and internally. Externally, literally, there could be tornadoes, hurricanes, flooding. Internally, we may feel a lot of unsettled energy, lack of direction, confusion, lack of, our purpose. That's because Shani and Rahu, they are coming towards each other. They're on a head-on collision course. They'll join exactly conjunct on April 21st. Shani and Rahu are the two most Vata, windy, airy planets, and they are in the sign of Pisces, the watery sign of Pisces. So that's the air and water combination. It'll stir a lot of storms inside of us. And also, Mars, the planet of action and passion and energy, that's going to be retrograde. Debilitated in the sign of Cancer starting 2nd of April. So we'll see both Vata aggravation, that means fear, lack of clarity, unsettled energy, as well as Pitta aggravation. There we may feel anger, frustration, this urge to do something, and that could be destructive. And plus, there's so much energy, so many planets concentrated in the sign of Pisces. So we'll see how that massive energy will affect all of the 12 rising signs one by one. First of all, Aries rising, Aries Lagna, Aries ascendant. This massive energy concentrated in your 12th house and uh, this unsettling conjunction of Saturn and Rahu that's taking place in your 12th house on April 21st, to be specific. Saturn Rahu coming towards each other in your 12th house. So we'll discuss the impact of that. So let's go chronologically what's happening. First of all, Mars will be debilitated in the sign of Cancer starting April 2nd. So that means in your home front, there could be anger, aggression, frustration. Be careful in your home with your family. Could also be, especially with your mother. So good thing is spend some energy, do some action, do some activity, physical work in your home, maybe renovation or changing around the furniture or just doing more physical work. That will take out all of this anger, frustration in the positive direction. Otherwise, there could be this unsettling energy and fights or anger in your home front. Then we have the good news is Mercury and Venus both will be direct. Mercury will be direct as of April 7th, and Venus will be direct as of April 12th. So that will bring some good energy in your 12th house. 12th house is foreign people, foreign projects, foreign travel. So there could be some good opportunities in those areas. Um, and it's also exalted Venus, and Mercury also gets strength from that. But the Saturn and Rahu are playing spoil sport. Saturn and Rahu are coming towards each other, head-on collision. They are the most Vata planets, most windy, airy planets, and so that will cause confusion, chaos, and also sort of lack of direction. So you may feel confused about your connection with the ancestors, or confused about foreign activities, foreign people, foreign travel. There could also be literally some scheming or some very hidden things going on that you're not aware of. So you have to be very careful. Your sleep may be disturbed, and your subconscious mind, it is actually calling your attention to something higher, something beyond the three dimensions. So do lots of meditation, lots of astral travel, past life regression. Those things will calm down this 12th house, extreme aggravation in your 12th house. And so with that, in fact, your whole moksha trikona, moksha trikona is the 4th house, 8th house, and 12th house. They are all impacted, really, really afflicted. 4th house, as we discussed, debilitated warrior in chief, Mars. Then 8th house ruler is also Mars, which is afflicted. And then, of course, all this chaos happening in the 12th house. So moksha trikona is impacted. That means it is literally calling your attention to what gives you inner happiness, that's Mars, and what ultimately gives you liberation. So you have to focus on the long term. This is shaking up things for you to not just live in this material world, but understand what's the bigger picture. Then the good news is Sun is going to be exalted in your first house in your Lagna in the sign of Aries starting April 13th. Until April 13th, Sun will also be part of this, all these congregation of planets. It'll be five planets in your 12th house. Massive energy in the 12th house. There may be literally some kind of losses also. Letting go. Letting go is a big theme. But after April 13th, Sun will give you strength. Sun will give you self-confidence. Sun will give you better health, better immunity. You'll shine as a leader. So you'll do things out, and then personality development, all of that. So this will be a powerful transit for you. Then Jupiter continues to be in your second house, in the sign of Taurus. And so Jupiter is also exchanging with Venus, especially after it goes direct. So there's a powerful exchange here, which will stabilize, which will continue to give you opportunities for financial abundance and wealth. And then Ketu continues to be in your sixth house. So focus on your health, focus on just making sure there's no mistakes in terms of dealing with the enemies, both internal and external, because Ketu may give headless mistakes. So take extra care of health. But so what's happening is one is the Dharma Trikona, which is the 1, 5, 9, first house, fifth house, and ninth house are very, very strong. So it's telling you to focus on your dharma, your purpose, who you are and what is your purpose. So that with the first house very strong, exalted Sun there, and then the fifth Lord is in the first house, very powerful, and then of course the ninth Lord Jupiter is very strong as well. So Dharma Trikona, very powerful. The Artha Trikona, the Jupiter, the second house, sixth house, and the 10th house. That is our resources, our wealth, our stability. All of that is pulling you towards being more ethical, more spiritual in dealing with money and in how you earn money. And that's also Ketu doing in the sixth house, means it's pulling you towards being more spiritual in your profession, in your job. And then, of course, the Moksha Trikona is under pressure. So that's the full picture for Aries rising for the month of April. Next, we have Taurus rising, Taurus Lagna, Taurus ascendant. For Taurus, this, first of all, the most important thing, this massive collision or this conjunction of Saturn and Rahu is taking place in your 11th house in the sign of Pisces. They'll exactly be conjunct on April 21st in your 11th house. We'll discuss the impact of that. First of all, let's go chronologically. Mars will be debilitated in your third house in the sign of Cancer from April 2nd onwards throughout the rest of the month of April. That means in your communication, be very careful. You may feel aggression and this passion and frustration or anger in your written communication or in general your marketing, sales, dealing with your neighbors, dealing with your close friends, dealing with your younger siblings. Be very, very careful in your day-to-day life also, dealing with the challenges, obstacles in your day-to-day life. You may feel a lot of frustration, so you got to have exercise a lot of patience and do not react immediately. Do not just pause. If something comes up, if something's not working, just pause. And patience is your biggest friend during this transit, Mars in the third house. Then we have the good news is Mercury and Venus are going to be direct. Mercury direct as of April 7th and Venus direct as of April 12th. This will give you massive opportunities on social media, or you'll get a lot of ideas how to improve your income, that is finances, and also to make more friends and fulfillment of desires, all that. But Saturn and Rahu at the same time are playing spoil sport, sitting along with Mercury and Venus. That means, first of all, you may feel a lot of confusion related to your friends, your social media, your finances. There could be illusion, maya, fear, unsettled energy, lack of direction, lack of purpose. You will not know what to do. Where am I going with all this, social media or finances? So there is a balancing act. Mercury Venus trying to help you, give you all the ideas and this business acumen. But Saturn Rahu is massive energy, really powerful vata aggravation, unsettled energy that'll be causing you to, you may actually be confused and take action without thinking, because so your Kama Trikona is completely impacted. Your third house, seventh house, and 11th house, those are under tremendous stress. Yes, Sun will be there for partial of the month, so but it's also making this 11th house, very, very powerful. So Kama Trikona means, take care of your desires. And your relationship may also be impacted. Seventh Lord is debilitated and trines to all of these major planets. So relationships, your social media, your networking, your written skill, communication, and your desires, all of that you may have to reevaluate. And so just take a pause. Do not make any major, massive decisions regarding your Kama Trikona, the third, seventh, and 11th houses. The good news is after April 13th, Sun will be exalted in your 12th house. In the sign of Aries. So that will lift up the whole Moksha Trikona because the 12th house has exalted planet, and then the fourth lord is exalted, that is the sun again. And then the eighth lord, Jupiter, is also very strong. So Moksha Trikona activated means, first of all, in fact, your subconscious mind will be awakened. Sun will give you direct access to other planes of existence, to your messages from ancestors. So you can do lots of yoga nidra. Your sleep may be disturbed because sun is light. Sun is the brightest, planet, and so the 12th house is our sleep. So you may want to focus more on, consciously taking extra care. So you go to bed early, but otherwise, this is very powerful and also good for foreign trips and connection with foreign people, foreign projects. All of that will be activated. At the same time, Jupiter continues to be in your Lagna, very strong, very powerful, and it is going to be exchanging Parivartan with Venus also. So your Lagna Lord is coming here as well after the exchange, especially after Venus goes direct on April 12th. So good for immunity, good for physical strength, good for personality development, expansion in your consciousness, all those areas. So that's the positive part of this month. So that means now Ketu continues to be in your fifth house. There may be distance, separation from your kids or from your romantic partner, unless they're all, on a very spiritual path. So that means there may be more spirituality in the life of your children or with your romantic partner. So doing more spiritual things with them is also another wonderful remedy. But the overall Jupiter Ketu in the Dharma Trikona, the first house, fifth house, and ninth house, that is making you very spiritual. So this is very good combination, good, dharmic planets sitting in your Dharma Trikona. So lifting up your Dharma, helping you understand who you are, what's my purpose. And so that's what's happening. That's the full picture. Pay attention to your third house and 11th house matters. And in terms of remedies, of course, those are similar for everybody, but Saturn Rahu means a lot of pranayam, oil massage, walking barefoot on the ground, and chanting mantras, of course. Next is Gemini rising, Gemini Lagna, Gemini ascendant. This massive collision of Rahu and Saturn will be taking place in your 10th house. So you may literally feel lack of direction and in your career. So what career path I should take? There'll be a lot of confusion. So we'll discuss that in more detail. First of all, let's go in the order chronologically. First, Mars is going to be debilitated in your second house in the sign of Cancer, starting April 2nd. So pretty much throughout the month of April. That means one is be very careful in terms of your speech. You may have anger, frustration in your speech. You may react too quickly. So pause. Any situation arises, just give it some time before reacting. Secondly, same thing in terms of your financial wealth, accumulated resources. You may take decisions or action which is premature or just without thinking. So be cautious in terms of your wealth also. And then we have the good thing is Mercury, Venus are going to be direct. Mercury starting April 7th, Mercury and Venus starting April 12th. So this will give you a lot of ideas, a lot of good energy in your career. But the problem is the Rahu and Saturn are playing spoil sport. Plus, Sun will also be there for half of the month. So Rahu, Saturn are the most Vata, that is windy, airy planets. They cause a lot of movement and change and transformation, confusion, lack of groundedness, unsettled energy. You will feel sort of like nothing is good enough. Plus illusion, Maya, So there's gonna be sort of complete overhaul of what you should be doing in your life as your career. So your career and purpose will be aligned now. This is giving you an opportunity to, or even completely change or shift your direction of work, your profession, your career. So your Artha Trikona, which is the second house, sixth house, and the 10th house, that's totally under pressure. Second house, as we discussed, it's the debilitated warrior in chief Mars, and then sixth lord is also Mars, which is weak, and then the 10th house, of course, all of this chaos, this drama happening in your 10th house. So stay grounded, do lots of remedies for Saturn and Rahu. Then we have Sun. That's the good news, is the Sun is going to be exalted in your 11th house starting April 13th. That'll give you power with your friends on social media, and also how to improve your income, and then also your elder siblings. So Sun in the 11th house will give you the power to rise and shine and help the humanity reach out to a lot of people, and make connections. So this is a very good period for that. Then Jupiter continues to be in your 12th house. It's very powerful there. In fact, having an exchange, parivartan, with Venus. And so Venus, the lord of the 12th house, sitting in the 12th. And so deep awakening of your subconscious mind, that's happening. And then literally, there's connection with the gurus, maybe from past lives, or connection with the ancestors, energy healing, hypnotherapy, past life regression, astral travel. Those things are very, very strong, very powerful. Plus, literally like foreign travel or opportunities from abroad, foreign projects, and connection with foreigners also. It's a good period for you to go on a retreat, and ashram, and spend some time to do lots of spiritual work. That is also all the spiritual, ashrams, those are 12th house places. And then again, the Ketu continues to be in your fourth house. That is your inner happiness. That means it is pushing you to discover what makes you happy over a long term. This may give you dissatisfaction in your home, like you may have this urge that things are not good, the status quo. So you want to change things and something is missing. That's going to be the feeling, something is missing. So literally, you may actually change your residence while Ketu is still in the fourth house. But more importantly, you will try to discover what is really important for you in life, what makes you happy. So there's going to be this balancing act between the fourth house frustration or fourth house dissatisfaction, detachment, versus the career, the 10th house, massive energy, massive pull here. Do something about the career, change my career. What should I be doing? What is my focus? What is my purpose? All of those will be very, very strong energy. So the moksha trikona, giving you a lot of spiritual power, meaning the fourth house, eighth house, 12th house is really powerful, pulling you towards deep spirituality. But the earth trikona, the money aspect, is under pressure, although sun is helping you, trying to bring in more income. But the wealth accumulation and career direction, what business, what path, those things will be confusing. You may feel lost in that area. So that's what's happening for the sign of Gemini. Next is Cancer rising, Cancer lagna, Cancer ascendant. Very sensitive period for you. First of all, so yeah, the biggest thing happening, the Rahu Saturn conjunction, exact conjunction, they're on a head-on collision, will be in your ninth house. We'll discuss more about that. First of all, let's go chronologically. Mars will be debilitated in your first house, in your lagna. Overall, you may feel frustration, anger, this lot of passion, and this urge to react very quickly. So the biggest caution, biggest advice for you is not to react. If something comes up, if something is triggering you, just give it some time, patience. Just let it go for at least a few minutes, and then and then think, and then act after thinking. Otherwise, Mars in the first house, a very difficult emotional energy. Another remedy, good remedy, would be to do more physical work. Go for a walk, go to the gym, do some exercise. That will help with this, frustrating energy of debilitated Mars in the first house. So that is impacting your Dharma Trikona. We'll discuss that also. So now Mercury and Venus, that's the good news, is Mercury and Venus will be direct. Mercury starting April 7th, Venus starting April 12th. So that is giving you more clarity, or at least more opportunities in terms of your wisdom, higher wisdom, connection with the gurus, and maybe even pilgrimage, going to a temple, long distance travels, all those areas. Mercury and Venus are trying to uh, improve those areas, improve your ninth house, your luck, your dharma. But Saturn and Rahu are playing this spoil sport. Saturn and Rahu are the most Vata planets, so there's going to be a lot of Vata aggravation. That means wherever this conjunction is taking place, in whichever house for each of the rising signs, that house will give you confusion, illusion, Maya. So you will completely feel this loss of direction. Uh, in terms of your spiritual path. So, what is my spiritual path? What is my dharma? That is under pressure. Your dharma trikona, first house, because debilitated Mars in the Lagna, fifth house, because the fifth lord is debilitated, and of course, all this drama, all this chaos happening in your ninth house. So, this dharma trikona 159 is under extreme pressure. This is the time for you to re-evaluate your dharma, your path, your purpose. And one good remedy would be literally going to a temple and sitting there for a few minutes, just absorbing the energy, calming down this excess vata, excess unset. So this is like unsettled energy, lack of direction, and lack of uh, this clarity in terms of your spiritual path. And also, there could be a lot of illusion, Maya, or issues related to the gurus in your life. There may be deception or fake gurus and things like that. So be careful on your spiritual front. Then we have the good news is Sun will be exalted in your 10th house starting April 13th. So this will give a huge push to your career, a boost to your career. You'll feel more strong as a leader, big projects, big ideas in your profession, in your career. So that's the good. And then at the same time, Jupiter continues to be in your 11th house. So the finances will flow. So good for career, good for finances. Money will flow. Jupiter, Venus also having Parivartan exchange, especially after Venus is direct on April 12th. So the 11th Lord, Venus, is also coming here. So good for social media, good for expansion of your network, good for making connections, good for older siblings. And the actual monthly income. So all those areas are good. So now at the same time, Ketu continues to be in your third house. So Ketu, Jupiter, both are making your Kama Trikona more spiritual. That means the third house, seventh house, and the 11th house, that is pulling you towards more spiritual direction. That means make your desires more sattvic, more dharmic, more spiritual. Make your relationship more spiritual. Otherwise, there could be obstacles, challenges. And same thing in terms of your communication, networking, all of that, make it more spiritual. So that is follow, the path of spirituality, or do more spiritual things with your partner. Literally, that's what it's calling you to do. And so that's the full picture. The Dharma Trikona, absolute transformation there. The Artha Trikona, this second house, sixth house, 10th house, getting the strength. That means more financial accumulation of wealth. And then the Kama Trikona having a more spiritual energy. So that's what's happening for the sign of Cancer. Next is Leo rising, Leo Lagna, Leo ascendant. For Leo, this big conjunction of Saturn Rahu is taking place in your eighth house. A big change, transformation in your life. We'll discuss more on that. Let's go chronologically. First of all, Mars will be debilitated in the sign of Cancer starting April 2nd in your 12th house. So a lot of pressure. There could be a lot of hidden anger, hidden frustration, or even hidden enemies. And your sleep may be disturbed. Very, very important to take extra care of your sleep. And then there could be frustration, anger, or just disappointment from foreign people, or in foreign countries, your projects may not be working out smoothly, or just deception, or just this fighting anger with anything to do with foreign people, foreign places. So deep meditation is a big remedy. And then also uh, the the eighth house, that's where all the action, all the chaos is happening. Good thing is Mercury and Venus are going to be direct. So that Mercury from April 7th and Venus from April 12th. So that means this will give you a sense of a lot of ideas in terms of how to make money from other people, or inheritance. You may actually see some inheritance, but Saturn and Rahu are playing spoil sport. So Mercury, Venus getting strength, but then Saturn, Rahu are such massive, big planets that there will be lack of clarity, lack of direction in terms of your spiritual connection with the universe, the bigger picture. There could also be illusion, maya, deception in terms of getting inheritance, in terms of shared resources. So be careful in those areas. But overall, Rahu in the eighth house is actually very good, makes you fearless in terms of going deep in the realm of spirituality. So this is a huge opportunity for you to discover the secrets of the universe, literally. This whole period may feel like huge confusion and transformation and change, and those could be sudden changes for you because eighth house is very sudden. All the action, all the results are very sudden. You may feel your life may be like upside down totally. So that's eighth house, and also because the whole of moksha trikona, that's the fourth house, 8th house and 12th house, they're all impacted. So moksha trikona under pressure, that means literally this is giving you opportunity to figure out what is your ultimate purpose, like what will give you liberation. Then the good news is Sun will be exalted in your ninth house starting April 13th. That will give you power to be a guru, to be a leader, share your wisdom with other people, spend time with your gurus, spend time at the temple, maybe long distance travel, pilgrimage, higher studies. Those areas will shine and flourish for you. Jupiter continues to be in your 10th house, and it's also having an exchange parivartan with Venus, especially after April 12th when Venus goes direct. So this is giving power and strength to your 10th house. That is your career. You'll have a lot of opportunities, expansion, and big ideas, everything big, and even more, finances, income. So those areas will be good, more opportunities. At the same time, Ketu is going to be continues to be in your second house. Pay attention to your speech. And now the Artha Trikona, which is the second house, sixth house, and 10th house, it has two powerful spiritual planets, Jupiter and Ketu. That means it is asking you to be very ethical and moral and spiritual in terms of making money. So make money through spiritual means, or good dharmic ways, not any deception or any negative ways of making money. So the Earth Trikona, otherwise you'll have obstacles, challenges, and difficulties. So the Earth Trikona, well, getting strength and more spiritual. The Dharma Trikona, which is the first house, ninth house, fifth house, and ninth house, that is very strong now. So you'll discover your dharma, but then there's transformation change happening because of the moksha trikona under pressure. So that's the full picture for the sign of Leo. Next is Virgo. Virgo Lagna, Virgo ascendant, Virgo rising. This drama, this chaos is happening in your seventh house, where Saturn and Rahu are going to be exactly conjunct on April 21st. Lots of Vata aggravation. We'll discuss that. First of all, let's go chronologically. Mars enters a sign of debilitation on April 2nd in the sign of Cancer in your 11th house. So be careful on social media, not to be angry and or any frustration. Same thing with your older siblings. Be careful dealing with them. And there could be differences. And then also in terms of your income, you may feel a little bit of frustration in terms of your financial situation. So the caution or the recommendation is to be patient. Do not react. That is Mars debilitated, means it'll react, the frustration, immediate action without thinking. So if something comes up, just pause, give it some time, it'll resolve. Otherwise, Mars in the 11th will give you a lot of frustration. And then we have Mercury, Venus are going to be direct. So that's a big relief. Mercury is going to be direct on April 7th. Venus is going to be direct on April 12th. So that means for your seventh house, there's going to be more ideas, more, this gentle, wonderful energy of exalted Venus along with Mercury there. But Rahu and Saturn are playing spoil sport, sitting with them. Rahu and Saturn are extreme Vata. lack of groundedness, unsettled energy, lack of satisfaction, all of that will play out in your relationship. So be careful in your partnership, in your with your spouse or with your business partners. And Sun will also be there for half of the month until April 13th. So your uh, this Kama Trikona, that is third house, seventh house, and 11th house, that's under pressure because the third lord, Mars, is debilitated. And of course, the 11th house has debilitated planet. And then all this, chaos going on in the seventh house. So be careful with your written communication or any form of communication. Be careful with your siblings, both older and younger siblings. Be careful in with your partner, with your spouse, and also in terms of your desires. You may feel frustrated that my desires are not getting fulfilled. So just let go of those expectations, then you'll feel happy. At the same time, the good news is Sun will be exalted in the sign of Aries starting April 13th. So that will illuminate your eighth house. That means you will discover secrets of the universe, your connection with the universe, with the higher power, and also maybe inheritance, maybe money from other people, from shared wealth. And then eighth house is complete change and transformation. You'll be a different person. So the Moksha Trikona getting a lot of strength because the 12th Lord Sun is exalted, in the eighth house itself. And so there is Vipritya Raja Yoga also. And of course, the fourth Lord is Jupiter is also very strong. So the Moksha Trikona very powerful, giving you a lot of strength. That is the fourth house, eighth house, and 12th house. At the same time, Jupiter continues to be in your ninth house, higher wisdom, you be a guru, share your wisdom with other people, higher studies, more association with the gurus, spending time at the temple or religious places, religious pilgrimage, long distance travel. And so that's very powerful. The ninth house, house of luck, is shining upon you. And at the same time, Jupiter is also having exchange parivartan with Venus, especially after April 12th when it goes direct. So that's wonderful. That shows that you'll have, positive energy with your partner, with your relationship, although this Saturn Sun is very aggravating. Uh, and now Ketu continues to be in your Lagna. That means more spirituality, discovering who you are, going within, detachment from external world. And so your Dharma Trikona, the first house, fifth house, and the ninth house is pulling you in a spiritual direction. Very powerful awakening of your Dharma Trikona. What is my purpose? You'll have more clarity and direction as to your spiritual path. Who you are. All of that will become very, very clear. And the Moksha Trikona also. So the Dharma Trikona and the Moksha Trikona, very powerful activation. But the challenges may be in the Kama Trikona, the third, seventh, and the 11th house, as we discussed. So that's the full picture for Virgo rising. Next is Libra rising, Libra Lagna, Libra ascendant. This massive conjunction, head-on collision of Saturn and Rahu, is taking place in your sixth house in the sign of Pisces. That's where eclipse is taking place on March 29th, and then the month of April, this huge congregation of planets in your sixth house. So we'll discuss what that means. Let's go chronologically. First of all, Mars will be debilitated in the sign of Cancer starting April 2nd in your 10th house. There may be anger, frustration in your career. So do not pick any fights at work, especially with your boss or superiors. And you may just feel lack of direction, motivation in your career. So the whole Artha Trikona is getting impacted. That's Mars specifically in the 10th house. The good thing is Mercury and Venus will be direct. Mercury from April 7th and Venus from April 12th. So the sixth house is getting some strength. The exalted Venus, joined by Mercury, who's getting the strength from Venus as well. But so that will give you some kind of, good ideas and like expansion in your job, profession. But Saturn and Rahu are playing spoil sport. So this massive unsettled energy of Saturn and Rahu coming together in the sixth house, this may impact your health. First of all, you have to take extra care of your health. Extra vata aggravation may be there in your constitution. So more oil massage, grounding exercises, pranayam, Shani mantras, Rahu mantras, very important for your health, first of all. Secondly, if you are having any legal issues or challenges, conflicts. This is not the time to, you know, to take major action, major decisions, because there could be illusion, there could be Maya, there could be misunderstanding, confusion because of Saturn, Rahu, massive energy there in the sixth house. Then, in terms of your job, sixth house also represents our job. There could be confusion, again, lack of grounded energy, a lot of change, transformation, shifting things in your job, in your profession. And literally, there could be like scheming or some kind of illusion maya, some people working behind your back. So those kinds of energies are there with Saturn and Rahu in the sixth house. This is a perfect opportunity for you to do some volunteer work in the health related field, so to help other people heal. That will be really wonderful, good remedy for you. Otherwise, your Artha Trikona, the second house, sixth house, and 10th house under extreme pressure. This may impact health, and this may impact profession, and this may impact your financial accumulated resources. Then Sun is going to be exalted in your seventh house in the sign of Aries starting April 13th. That means that will shine light on your relationships. You may get into big partnerships with others, with business partnerships, but you have to be careful in your personal relationship not to have any ego issues, because Sun in the seventh house can give you this ego problems with your partner. Or your partner may shine bright and you may feel jealous, or the other way around, you may get all the attention or name and fame, and your partner may be left behind feeling jealous. And so that energy starting April 13th until mid-May, be very careful in your one-on-one relationships and partnerships. Then Jupiter continues to be in your eighth house in the sign of Taurus. Well placed there, Jupiter also has a Parivartan Yoga exchange with Venus sitting in the sixth house. So this is a powerful 6-8 exchange happening. So eighth house, profound healing power, profound, this expansion of your consciousness, a connection with the universe. This will give you a lot of answers. This hidden wisdom will be activated. Deep esoteric secrets will be revealed to you. You may also get inheritance. You may also get wealth from other people, shared resources from your spouse, good for wealth management if you are in the finance industry. But at the same time, Ketu continues to be in your 12th house. That is bringing attention to, what is the final destination, the moksha. So awakening of the subconscious mind, connection with the ancestors, and liberation, those are the themes. So basically your moksha trikona, that is the fourth house, eighth house, and 12th house, is very powerfully activated by the two most spiritual planets, Jupiter and Ketu. So the moksha trikona having spiritual planets, perfect, really good energy for you to focus on your higher purpose, your inner happiness, your change and transformation, and then final liberation. But at the same time, the Artha Trikona under pressure, and then Kama Trikona. In fact, the Kama Trikona, third house, seventh house, 11th house, it's very powerful for communication, for networking, for especially written communication, but sensitive for one-on-one partnerships, personal partnerships. The business partnerships may grow. You may have leadership roles and connection with, very famous and successful people. So this is the time to consolidate, or get into very big partnerships. So that's the overall energy. That's what's going on for the sign of Libra. Now, Scorpio rising, Scorpio Lagna, Scorpio ascendant. This conjunction of Saturn Rahu head-on collision taking place in your fifth house on April 21st. That's the exact conjunction. We'll discuss what that means. First of all, Mars is going to be debilitated in the sign of Cancer as of April 2nd for the whole of the month, pretty much. So your ninth house is under pressure. You may feel frustration with respect to your gurus. You may also feel frustration with your Sangha, and literally with your spiritual path. You may feel lack of direction, feeling lost in terms of what is my dharma, what is my path, what is my spiritual calling. And then literally having fights or anger, frustration with your gurus and spiritual teachers. So that's very important to stay calm and respect your gurus and not react too soon in terms of your ninth house matters. Then we have Mercury, Venus finally are going to be direct. Mercury on 7th of April and Venus on 12th of April. That's going to be very positive for the fifth house. So that means better for your children, for romantic relationship, for speculative investments. But Saturn and Rahu are playing spoil sport there. So there could be a lot of illusion, Maya, ungrounded energy, unsettled energy in terms of your romantic partnerships. And same thing with respect to your children. So a lot of change may be happening in your children's life. Or you may feel this separation, it's separative energy because Saturn Rahu is this vata, windy energy, which is very, very separative. This dryness will be there in your connection with your children. So the good remedies are doing lots of pranayam together with your children or yourself, thinking about your children, a lot of oil massage and grounding exercises. So those are important. Now, at the same time, Sun is going to be exalted in your sixth house starting April 13th. And that so that's going to give you so Sun will be exalted in your sixth house. That means this will give a boost to your job. In your job, you'll have more leadership roles, more opportunities, more responsibility. So this will, in fact, lift up the whole Earth Trikonam, the second house, sixth house, and 10th house. Second house is your family wealth, accumulated resources. Sixth house is your job, profession. 10th house is your career, business, and all that. So this period will be good overall for your career, for your profession, for your job. Take up more leadership roles. Think big projects as a leader. And also this will lift up your health. This will give a boost to your health overall, sixth house. And this is a good time for you to set a good dinacharya, the daily routine. Follow, if you start or if you already have a routine, stick to that. It'll give you all the power and strength to have a good focus on your health during this transit. It's a very, very positive development in the Artha Trikona. Then Jupiter continues to be in your seventh house in the sign of Taurus. That's a good placement. So this will give expansion to your relationships, to your connections. Jupiter also has a Parivartan Yoga exchange with Venus. So there's exchange between the fifth and the seventh. So that shows, do more you know, going on a date with your spouse. That is literally the connection of the fifth house and the seventh house. So do more romantic things with your partner, with your spouse if you're married. And then at the same time, Ketu continues to be in your 11th house. That shows that your Kama Trikona, the third house, seventh house, and 11th house, those are getting a very deep spiritual focus. Both spiritual planets, the most spiritual planets, Jupiter and Ketu, are in your Kama Trikona. That means, first of all, pay attention to your desires. Restrict your desires. Don't have excess desires. That's Ketu in the 11th house. And secondly, making effort to bring in more spirituality in your relationships, in your partnerships. And then also in your all forms of communication, that is third house and 11th house, be very spiritual, authentic, and focus on traditional things. So that's the impact on your Kama Trikona. So that's the overall energy for Scorpio rising, Scorpio Lagna. Next is Sagittarius rising, Sagittarius Lagna, Sagittarius ascendant, the big conjunction of Saturn Rahu taking place in your fourth house. This will shake up things. We'll discuss that. First of all, Mars is going to be debilitated in your eighth house starting April 2nd in the sign of Cancer. Be very careful driving. This could lead to some kind of accidents or sudden changes, sudden shifts may happen. So the Mars debilitated in the eighth house means anger, frustration, and a lot of this chaotic energy. So channel that frustration, that anger of Pitta, of Mars, the warrior in chief, in the positive direction by doing more physical work, being more physically active, but careful in terms of driving, traveling, all of that. Mars in the eighth house, though, debilitated, this will also shake up things in terms of this will give you dissatisfaction and frustration with respect to your connection with the universe. That is the eighth house. Okay. And this may also shake up, this may also give you some kind of health issues and you may feel, oh, frustration that, oh, things are not moving in the positive direction. But ultimately, you'll have a resolution. So we'll discuss the impact on the moksha trikona. Then we have Mercury and Venus are going to be direct. So that's the good news. Mercury will be direct on April 7th. Venus will be direct as of April 12th. So that means some positive energy, some positive development in your fourth house to help you with the energy at home, in your home environment. And maybe good for real estate also, so doing things. But the issue is Saturn and Rahu are playing spoil sport, sitting next to Mercury and Venus. This is massive vata aggravation. You may feel unsettled in your home, in your residence. You may feel this urge to change your residence or move away from your home. And with your family members also, there may be friction. But what this transit is doing is shaking up your fourth house. That means ultimately, first you'll feel very dissatisfied, but ultimately it'll help you discover what gives you inner happiness. So your moksha trikona under tremendous pressure. Moksha trikona is what? The fourth house, the eighth house with the, of course, fourth house with all these massive congregation of planets, and then where the eclipse is also taking place on March 29th. And then debilitated Mars in your eighth house. And then, of course, the 12th Lord is Mars also, which is debilitated in the eighth house. So moksha trikona under pressure, but this is like spiritual, you know, uh, like transformation, complete transformation. So you'll feel a different person. You'll come out as a different person in terms of your connection with the universe, in terms of your subconscious mind, in terms of what makes you happy. That's the fourth house. Then we have Sun is going to be exalted in your fifth house starting April 13th. So that's a very positive development for your Dharma Trikona, which is the first house, fifth house, and ninth house. First house, the ruler Jupiter, very strong. The fifth house, of course, exalted Sun, and the ninth house ruler is also the Sun. So the Dharma Trikona is giving you, telling you, asking you to be a leader. And the fifth house exalted also means good for your children. They may feel more strength, more power. They may act as leader. Same thing with your romantic partnership also. But you have to be careful not to have any ego issues in your romantic partnerships, also with your children. Otherwise, massive opportunities, big opportunities to take your dharma, your spiritual path to the next level. Jupiter continues to be in your sixth house in the sign of Taurus, also having an exchange parivartana with Venus, especially after Venus goes direct as of April 12th. So that means the sixth house is getting all the strength. Sixth house is very powerful, good for your job, employment, expansion, more ideas, more responsibility, more success in your job. Also better for your health, especially Venus coming here will give you ideas and deep healing, cleansing, nourishing energy. Venus in the sixth house. So good for health, good for your job, profession. More opportunities will be there. But at the same time, Ketu continues to be in your 10th house of career, your profession. That means it is pulling you inwards. It's making you more spiritual. This is because there are two most spiritual planets, Jupiter and Ketu, sitting in your Artha Trikona, the second house, sixth house, and 10th house. That means they are asking you to make your finances more ethical, more spiritual, more moral, as in the way you make money, the method, or just the your profession, literally your profession, your career, that has to be very spiritual, or at least has a spiritual foundation. Then you'll flourish. Otherwise, there may be obstruction, challenges, obstacles in your profession, literally, with Ketu and Jupiter both asking you to go on a spiritual path more. So basically align your career with your purpose. Spiritual means your dharma, your purpose. So your career should be aligned with that. That's what Ketu in the 10th is asking you to do. So that's the overall picture for Sagittarius rising. Next is Capricorn rising, the big conjunction Rahu Saturn in your third house. That's where the congregation of planets, that's where the eclipse is taking place on March 29th. We'll discuss what that means. First of all, Mars is going to be debilitated in your seventh house in the sign of Cancer starting April 2nd for pretty much the whole month of April. That means anger, frustration, in your partnership, in your relationships, be very careful not to react too soon. Be very careful not to have any anger issues with your partner, with both with your spouse or with your business partners. And it's very easy. The things may actually get very emotional because it's a sign of Cancer, and this is the like the warrior, defeated warrior Mars, sitting in the sign of the mother. That's Cancer. So it cannot do much, but it's like it feels trapped. It feels frustrated, anger, aggression, frustration in your relationship. Be very, very cautious on that front. Then we have Mercury. Venus will be direct finally. Mercury will be direct as of 7th April, Venus direct 12th April. That means communication, networking, all of that, learning new skills, good opportunities for that in the third house. But at the same time, Saturn and Rahu are playing spoil sport. So that is a lot of Vata aggravation. In fact, this is excess of Vata, but Rahu is also innovation, unconventional ways of doing things. So this is one of the bright areas is to learn some new skills. It'll give you massive opportunities, this unconventional ways of doing things or innovative ideas. So learn something new, some new skills. Very powerful energy for that for Capricorn rising. But otherwise, be cautious in your communication. You may feel lost, especially written communication, newsletters, networking, dealing with younger siblings, and also with your close friends, dealing with your neighbors. So all those areas are under tremendous pressure. You may feel lost what to do. And secondly, in terms of dealing with day-to-day issues, you will feel this confusion and frustration again. You may react too soon. So the Kama Trikona, the third house, seventh house, and 11th house are under tremendous pressure. Then Sun is going to be exalted in your fourth house starting April 13th. This will bring limelight to your fourth house. That's the house of residence, your inner happiness. Literally, see, Sun is the truth. Sun is the king. Sun is the light of the solar system. So sitting in the fourth house will give you, it will reveal what makes you happy long term. That is fourth house. That is your inner happiness. A wonderful placement. Go on this quest for finding your ultimate happiness, the source of your happiness. That's going to be very, very powerful. So literally, this is activating a moksha trikona because the fourth house has exalted planet. Eighth house ruler is the sun, again exalted. And then, of course, the 12th house ruler, Jupiter, is well placed in the fifth house. So Jupiter continues to be in the fifth house in the sign of Taurus. It is actually having an exchange with Venus. So the fifth and the third house getting power that way. So the fifth house is really strong now. So that means more expansion and wisdom for your children. More expansion, wisdom in your romantic relationships, maybe more opportunities to meet people, new people, if you are looking for a partnership for a romantic relationship. And also good for speculative investments, but this is not financial advice by any means. But all the fifth house matters will experience expansion from both the gurus, the Jupiter and Venus. And so your Dharma Trikona is getting very powerful. Now, talking about Dharma Trikona, so Ketu continues to be in your ninth house. That is the most spiritual placement for Ketu. Ninth house is our Dharma, our gurus, our spiritual path. Ketu is the most spiritual planet. So this is giving you direct vision into your spiritual path, what you're here for, your purpose. And so the Dharma Trikona, that's first house, fifth house, ninth house, having two most spiritual planets, Jupiter and Ketu. So wonderful placement there. Wonderful for Moksha Trikona, the 4, 8, 12, but the Kama Trikona is under tremendous pressure. So also the 11th house means your desires. So keep your desires in check. There may be illusion and like excessive desires. That's Rahu, Saturn energy impacting your 11th house as well. So that's the overall picture for Capricorn rising. Next is Aquarius rising, Aquarius Lagna, Aquarius ascendant. Massive conjunction, big energy of Saturn, Rahu coming together in your second house. Especially on April 21st, that's the exact conjunction. We'll discuss what that means for your second house. First of all, Mars as of April 2nd will be debilitated in the sign of Cancer in your sixth house. There may be frustration, anger, or confusion with respect to your health. Secondly, there may be anger issues and frustration or even fighting at your workplace, in your job. And then also in terms of your, dealing with the enemies. So any legal issues and stuff, be very careful. Don't make any major decisions during this transit if you can postpone. So the sixth house matters are under tremendous pressure. Then the good thing is Mercury and Venus are going to be direct. Mercury direct as of April 7th, Venus direct as of April 12th. So that will lift up the second house, more ideas for making money, financial wealth. It's good for speech, for your diet also. But Saturn and Rahu are playing spoil sport at the same time. So there could be a lot of illusion, Maya, confusion, lack of direction. You may feel lost in terms of your financial wealth. You may feel lost in terms of your speech and your kutumba, your issues with your family. So the second house matters are under tremendous pressure. So one caution is in terms of finances and wealth, there may be like ideas of, get rich quick ideas. So don't fall in those traps. So be careful when you speak also. The speech, you may have, this lack of clarity, confusion in terms of your speech. So I would say recommendation would be to talk less, talk only when needed, because otherwise this too much like excessive movement of Rahu and Saturn in the second house may cause you to speak too soon or speak, not the right things. So that's the caution. And then Sun is going to be exalted in your third house starting April 13th. This will be massive, positive for your communication, especially written communication will be powerful. Newsletters, connecting with your clients, your marketing, sales, all of that will pick up. Third house means skills also. So this is great period after April 13th for you to learn some new skills. Those will give you name and fame. Sun in the third house, that's where you'll get the recognition, name and fame. So things about the Kama Trikona, in fact, the third house, seventh house, 11th house, all are getting a huge boost. The seventh lord is exalted in third, and then of course the 11th lord is Jupiter is also well placed. So the Kama Trikona means your desires may be fulfilled. You may develop more contacts in terms of friendships. Also on social media, you'll have more success, more name and fame and recognition. So those are good, positive areas during this month. Jupiter continues to be in your fourth house in the sign of Taurus, well placed, having an exchange with Venus, especially after April 12th when Venus goes direct. So very powerful expansion in your fourth house, maybe buying a new home or expanding your residence or some renovation or more grounded energy in your home, more wisdom in your home, more spiritual discussions in your home. And finally, Jupiter in the fourth house will directly guide you. All the gurus will guide you in terms of what makes you happy. So contemplate, do lots of spiritual discussions, do spiritual work, rituals at your home, like the yagya at your home, reading the scriptures, Gita, Mahabharata, and shlokas in your home, Gita part and all that in your home are excellent, wonderful, powerful remedies during this transit. Now, Ketu continues to be in your eighth house. That is spiritual transformation. Very powerful, giving you all the insights, secrets of the universe. So enroll in some courses, start studying esoteric subjects. And so your Moksha Trikona, very powerful. That is the fourth house, eighth house, and 12th house. Being activated by two most spiritual planets, the Jupiter and Ketu. So deeply spiritual period, spiritual awakening literally for you, the Moksha Trikona. The Kama Trikona giving you power in all these areas we discussed, social media. Be careful with your partnerships though, especially like your spouse or marriage, there may be ego issues. So that is one caution. But then Artha Trikona is under pressure. The second house, sixth house, and 10th house under tremendous pressure. That means your profession, your job, and the way you make money, all of your resources will be under pressure. You may have illusion or frustration or anger. You may act too soon. So be careful in that area. So that's for the month of April for Aquarius rising. Next, we have Pisces rising, Pisces Lagna, Pisces ascendant. The big conjunction of Rahu and Saturn are taking place in your Lagna. A very sensitive period for Pisces. There will be 5 planets here and then 6 actually during the eclipse on March 29th, when 5 planets plus Saturn will join them on that same day after a few hours of eclipse. So eclipse taking place in your Lagna, and then this major congregation of planets, and then of course the Vata aggravation of Rahu and Saturn. So we'll discuss what that means. First of all, Mars will be debilitated in your fifth house in the sign of Cancer as of April 2nd. So pretty much the whole month of April, Mars will be debilitated in the fifth house. There may be anger, frustration with your children, anger, frustration with your romantic partner. Be very cautious in your, speculative investments. Be very, very careful. Don't make any hasty decisions. Do not act prematurely. That is Mars debilitated. You may act without thinking. Same thing with your children also. Be very gentle dealing with your children. Do a lot of physical work, maybe, go to the gym with your children or with your romantic partner. That's the perfect remedy in your romantic relationship. Then we have Sun is going to be exalted in your second house starting April 13th in the sign of Aries. That means you will shine as a speaker, perfect for speaking engagements, perfect for adopting a more sattvic diet. And also, this will give you a lot of ideas and success and gains in terms of financial wealth, accumulated resources. And so think big, think, overall, like big projects and big ideas in terms of your wealth, because your Artha Trikona, the second house, sixth house, 10th house is totally powerful and awakened, because second house has exalted planet, sixth lord is Sun, that is exalted, and then the 10th lord Jupiter is well placed as well. So that brings us to Jupiter. That continues to be in your third house in the sign of Taurus, also getting strength from Venus, because they'll have a Parivartan Yoga exchange, especially after April 12th when Venus goes direct. So that means third house is getting a lot of strength. Perfect time to learn some new skills. Perfect time for written communication. And you see, the communication is a big theme for Pisces. Both your verbal, which is the speech, Sun exalted there, and the written communication is third house, Jupiter sitting there, also getting energy of Venus. So publishing, writing, communication, networking, marketing, sales, very, very good time for you for doing all of that. At the same time, Ketu is going to be in your seventh house. That means relationships may continue to be under pressure, maybe detachment. But if you and your partner are into spiritual things, this will be fantastic. This will be wonderful. So your Kama Trikona, the third house, seventh house, 11th house, is getting a very spiritual bout of energy with Jupiter and Ketu, the two most spiritual planets. So that means your desires, you'll have to restrict your desires, not to have excessive desires. And partnerships have to be set up on a solid spiritual foundation. And then the third house getting all the bliss. So learn some new skills, especially with your hands, if you want to pick up some instrument or, all those wonderful time for that. Now, the biggest issue, of course, that is the Rahu and Saturn are going to be conjunct. So overall, you may feel confusion. You may feel lack of direction, as in who you are, your personality, your existence. So your Dharma Trikona is under tremendous pressure, because the first house, fifth house, and ninth house, that is Dharma Trikona. This massive congregation of planets in the first house, debilitated planet in the fifth house, and then the ninth lord is again Mars, debilitated. So your Dharma means your purpose, your duty, your this spiritual path, that is under question, that is under confusion. Rahu and Saturn will take you in 100 directions, but it won't give you satisfaction. It won't give you answers. It may actually give you a lot of illusion and Maya, unsettled energy in terms of who you are, my spiritual path, my spiritual gurus, my disciples, students also, my children also, all those areas under tremendous pressure. So do lots of meditation, lots of grounding exercises, lots of pranayam, lots of Shani and Rahu mantras. Those are very powerful remedies for Pisces rising. Otherwise, this is a complete transformation. This is Phoenix rising for you. This is huge. Like your whole life, you'll be a different person after this transit. And of course, starting with the eclipse taking place in your Lagna, in your first house on March 29th. So that is what's happening with all the 12 rising signs. A lot of chaos, a lot of confusion, these winds of change, and storms raging both inside and outside for all of us, but in different areas of life, depending on where the sign of Pisces is for each of us. So exercise caution, do all those remedies, and maybe continue to receive the blessings of all the 9 planets, Navgrahas. Om Shanti. Thank you.